All right, we're recording.
Good deal.
Hey, ladies. I've been giving you all my loving and I ain't been sharing. But you know, I can't be like that. And I have an amazing woman who is with me today. So I'm sharing my love. I have Miss Latoya Frazier in the studio with me. And I'm super duper duper excited. And I got to tell you guys, y'all know I always rave about people because I don't like any and everybody on my show. Her application alone, this woman gave me chills. When I was reading it, I felt like she wrote a book. I'm not talking about you, but she answered every single question. She was so thorough about her life and her journey. And I'm like, if she could bless me like this through her application, then I knew she was going to bless whoever gets an opportunity to hear her on this podcast. And a little hint for some of you all out there. She followed every instruction down to a T to make this easy for me. And so I just want to say you are beautiful. You're gorgeous. I don't know as much about her as some of the other entrepreneurs that I've had on here, but she came on the scene like, here I am. This woman is awesome. I've got a chance to connect with her on social media, and she looks the part, walks the part, and feels the part. So tell everybody hi.
Hi, everybody.
Yay! So I'm super duper excited to have you here because I could talk all day. We can already figured that out, y'all. But I do know that empowering women and encouraging us on this journey of entrepreneurship is so much more powerful in numbers. And so whenever another sister is willing to come out here and say, you know what? This is me. This is who I am. This is what I've been through and I made it. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. So I just want to go ahead and get this party started and switch gears and let this be your stage. So if we could just start off, let's let the people get to know you.
Okay.
Who are you?
Well, I want to start off by saying thank you so much for accepting my application to be on your show. As you said, my name is Latoya Frazier. I am a wife, a mom, a sister, an aunt, and just a little background about me. I love to travel. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I said years ago, growing up, we didn't travel a lot. So, that was one of the things that we decided we were going to do in our family is travel. So we love to travel. We love to travel abroad. Yeah. We love to try, new cuisines. We love to, test out different cultures. So that's what we do. So I'm wife, mom, all of that fun stuff. Love to travel, love to eat. So I'm always looking at, the places we're traveling. What kind of cuisines can we taste when we get over there? So let's do a little research on that.
Oh,
yep.
Awesome. No, I lived in Houston temporarily, and I will say that now that's not traveling anywhere other, but that city is like traveling abroad. You just go up and down in one block, and there are so many strips of, Bosnian, Mediterranean, Japanese, just some of everything. So that is like a mecca of food here in the United States. So, right. But no, I got you. You got on all them typical hats, right?
Yes.
Sister, wife, all of those things. So what's your business hat? Who are you as a business owner? What do you do?
Yeah, as a business owner, I am a project manager, corporately trained. What's the nice way to say it? Corporately trained. Some people feel like, if you don't have your PMP certification, which is your project manager certification, and that's really a corporate thing, but I'm corporately trained. I've been in the project management industry for 15 years. I left corporate back in 2015.
Okay.
Project management on my own, and I specialize in managing program launches, and I help entrepreneurs and small business owners get their creative ideas out into the world by managing their projects.
I like that. Now, I'm already going to be able to pick on you. So I go, look, listen, everybody knows me. There's an impromptu flow to how I do these interviews, but you and I share something. And that means that you're an anal person. You like to cross T's. You like to dot I's. You like to do structure. So there's a whole lot that we'll let the interview flow, but we may have to dig into that because I'm really interested in how you transition from such a very structured environment into the entrepreneurial space, because no matter how much planning we do, The hiccups are real. So let's go ahead and talk to us about how you made this transition. What was that passion that kicked you from being in corporate America to switching gears and saying, no, I'm going to do something for myself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's kind of crazy because when you think about it, being a project manager, a senior project manager for a Fortune 500 company, when I told people I was leaving to do this on my own, it was like, what, are you crazy? So I had the cushion of getting a regular paycheck every 2 weeks. I had the benefits, didn't have to worry about that. We had great benefits. I worked with great people. The company was awesome, but I felt like something was missing, right? I wasn't fulfilled as I felt I should be in that type of environment. So from the outside looking in, it was great. But for me internally, I felt like I was dying on the inside. I'm like, well, Lord, what can I do? What would you have me do? And I had been praying about it for quite some time. And, I was like, okay, what am I passionate about? What am I good at? Because sometimes we don't always recognize those things in ourselves. But I started asking others, if I were to ask you, what are some of my strong points? What are some of my, what do you think that I'm good at? I started asking people around me, the people I work with, people at my church, my family. And it all boiled down to the same thing. And it was that organization, that management communication is what I was already doing as a project manager. So when I decided to step out and do it on my own, I tested the waters a little bit for a couple of years. Started back in maybe 2012, 2013, while I still had the nice cushion of my corporate job.
Wisdom.
Absolutely. And I told my husband one day, I said, you know what? I think I can do this on my own. And we had a conversation about it. Long story short, he said, if you don't try it, you won't know if it works or not. So here I am. I tried it and it's still working.
I love that. I also love that your husband was a very strong support for you, everybody else thought you was crazy, but he was like, hey, go for the gusto and just do that. And so that piece though with, hey, I'm going to leave this comfort. I'm going to leave what looks like the ideal life. You got the job with the pay, with the benefits, working for the company. You had all these thuses and so's. How did that feel on your morale? How was that affecting you?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was definitely an experience that took me out of my comfort zone. And one, I don't have a lot of people in my family that are entrepreneurs. So I've always had some type of business along the way throughout the years, my early teenage years to even now. And, a lot of people just feel like you get a job, you work, you retire, and it's all good. But that just wasn't enough for me. So it was really uncomfortable taking me out of my comfort zone to leave that cushion, right? To leave that pay, to leave that job, to leave those benefits. And I had to get to the point to where I'm saying, okay, God, I'm asking you for those things. You're opening up the doors, but now it's time for me to walk through them. So it was that fear. There were several doors that were open that I didn't walk through. Because of that fear, I let that fear set in. But, it just came a time where I said, okay, I can't keep asking. And I'm asking, but I'm not doing mine. So I had to step out on faith and push my toe through the door a little bit, first.
And get all vacuumed in.
Yes, until I got vacuumed in. Absolutely.
Because it's your mission and it's your calling, and God has this way of peacefully persuading you and pushing you at the same time, only because he knows this bigger benefit. I love your persona, just even bringing the whole thing up, and everybody has that push and pull of some of the people I'm closest to are not entrepreneurs and they don't understand. We don't know each other that well, but what I gathered from your spirit is that unlike some people, even though it was not comfortable to your morale and it pushed you in a place of discomfort, you used it to your benefit. That's the perception I received from you. You're like, okay, well, you know what? They said that and they are being scary, but that's possible. So let me talk to me about that. Am I going down the right path, or am I guessing wrong?
You're absolutely going down the right path. And I look at it this way. I'd be like, I can show you better than I can tell you. So that was motivation for me. Well, I got to make this work, because it would have been easy to just go back and get another job, right? Yeah. Just because being uncomfortable. Okay, let me go, get
Yes.
another job. My skills speak for themselves. It shouldn't be a problem. But I've always liked that challenge. I can show you better than I can tell you. So what do I have to do as a business owner, not only a business owner, but as a wife and mother that still have to take care of things around here, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and that project manager, that planner comes in. So, you know, before I left, actually, my husband and I, we sat down and we looked at what can we do around here that can help the transition process. What's the timeline? What does that timeline look like? We had a 2-year timeline when we first talked about it. You know, where do we want to be at financially? How much money do I want to be bringing in before I leave my corporate job? So it was a plan and a process. So it wasn't just something overnight that we said, okay, you know, I had a bad day, you know, I'm leaving tomorrow. We actually had to plan it out in order for it to work right. So, you know, we took a look at the things that we didn't need around here, cable, extra phone lines, you know, start looking at prices at the grocery store and how much money we were spending going out, entertainment. And when you look at those things, when you don't look at them, you don't realize how much you're spending, right? So when we put that plan in place and we started looking at that, we were like, okay, we can get rid of a lot, you know, just so that we were on the right path. So when the time came for me to actually leave corporate, that we were in a good place financially in terms of, you know, how we could continue to support ourselves in the business and things could continue to thrive. We had to go without some stuff, but that's all right. You know,
Your goal. I knew having you here would be gold because, you know, you've heard me. And when it comes to talking about entrepreneurship, you know, sometimes I'm on this podcast. I'm like, look, what's wrong with y'all? You ain't fit to be no entrepreneur. You don't want to deal with anything, you know. And so people, there's so many of these highlight reel level stories that are out there. And when you start talking about trusting God, I don't care which spiritual dynamic you go through, because all of them do it. Whether it's I'm a trust God and believe he gonna provide, or I can attract everything I want and everything is gonna work out for me. People act like it's defying the blessings of God. It's defying the will of attraction to prepare, to be disciplined, to make those kind of decisions. And I know so many entrepreneurs that would be able to beast their business and work it full time if they would cut off the cable and maybe only stream Netflix for the kids. If they would look at their grocery bill and they're stopping at the fast food restaurant here and there and realize they spending $1,700 a month. And if they had a, you know, not even a meal plan, like I ain't trying to make you turn into an expert, but just say, hold up. I'm not going to go to such and such and order their shrimp and spaghetti and all that. We're going to buy the box of noodles and cook for the week. That they can literally cut that stuff in half. And before you know it, you ain't even went over all the utilities and stuff. And you've already found $1,000. And so people be like, oh my God. And, you know, I have to make, you know, 10K, 20K a month in order to be able to do this. And don't get me wrong, because hitting the 10K month feels really, really good. But in order for you to step fully into your dream, a lot of you only need to bring in 3,000 to 4,000 to be able to woo-side and work your business only and then build up. And I like the fact that you're saying it because you had it all. You had it all. And so it was like, hey, I don't feel bad. It's just some decisions, but we can let ego, keeping up with the Joneses, and all of those things get in the way of us making decisions. And it just goes back to the question of how bad do you really want this? Because you said you had something missing. You were doing things, but you were feeling empty. So what's part of this passion behind you? What turns you on, you know, when you're working with your clients and you're doing what you're doing?
Oh my gosh. I literally get a high when I'm working with my clients and I'm helping them they come up with the idea, but I'm helping them with that idea, birthing that idea and seeing it implemented. And you know, as entrepreneurs, you see and talk to people all the time, have these great, fantastic ideas, but they don't necessarily know how to implement them.
No.
And I feel like that's my, that's my jam right there. That's what I do. I do it well, and I love to do it. And I can simplify the process because I've been doing it for so long, and take the complications out of it, because not everything don't need to be complicated.
No.
But sometimes when people don't understand the process, they complicate it, not trying to. That's just part of the process, because you don't know what you don't know. So
Absolutely.
Just that passion, being able to help somebody take their idea or their dreams from being birthed into an implementation phase. I really love that. I get excited about clear plans, timelines, and due dates.
Look, and please, y'all, check it out, because some of you that are listening, you're sleeping on an opportunity to take your business to the next level because you think what you like to do has to translate into something that equates like to money. I can't make any money, being a coach or doing these things because I can't tell people it translates into this much money in particular. Don't get me wrong, because you're helping people implement projects that you can say, okay, hey, this is your project. This is how much this is what your program, this is how much it's going to cost. This is our projection, how many people we want to fill those slots. But you didn't come on this podcast and say, what turns me on is turning an entrepreneur, into a 50K earner every single month. You said, I'm turned on by simplicity, by timelines, by structure, by organization, by things like that. And that's valuable, because a person that isn't as analytical and does not know the rules to the game will be jumping through hoops and having a headache because they don't know what to do. And you could try to freebie yourself to death and try to piece together, well, this is how you create the course, and this is the, here's the freebie on how you put it in here, and here's the freebie on how you market over here and here. And by the time you get through doing all of your freebies, and it's so disjointed because it was from this person and that person and this group and that group, your frustration will stifle your creativity and you don't have anything.
Right.
And whatever it is that you want to do, there's beauty in it for another person. Because some of you might be like, I just like to make pretty pictures. Well, you might need to be a social media marketing, something, because guess what? Some of us don't like to make them pictures. There's value in everything. So I love that when you talked about what you love doing, I know there's a financial result on the other side for your client. And it would have been okay if you said you love that too, but your natural inclination wasn't to speak to that.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Come on. Talk to me. I don't know if you was getting ready to say something. If you were, go ahead. Because I was getting ready to say, if you have an impromptu thought or something, you can stop me. You can put the little church finger up and be like, "Oh, I guess you're running now." But no, so I'm loving this. So go to the spiritual impact too, because I always love to talk about, what's going on in your mind mentally, what's going on in your world personally. You brought God into the picture. I mean, we know that ultimately, obviously, your relationship was strengthened because you listen to him and you had to jump and go by faith. Talk about, a low for you, if you don't mind, and a high for you in this transitional phase too, so people don't think they're crazy.
Right.
While they're going through theirs.
Absolutely. So, as an entrepreneur, I mean, your mind is always going because you're thinking about the idea. You're thinking about your own personal projects. You're thinking about your clients' projects. You're thinking about the house projects, what you got going on at the house with the husband, the kids, the extended family. And it had to take me to a point to where I had to literally sit down and be still to hear the word of God, to hear his voice, for him to direct my path, because I was just doing too much and so much because, again, I'm trying to show everybody I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, but it was affecting my health, one, from a stress level, not sleeping because, your mind is always on 100, going back and forth. And as entrepreneurs, we don't want to take that time off because time is money.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes the Lord will put things in your path where he'll make you sit down and he'll make you be still. And it got to the point where I was trying to scale my business and do so much. Although I had a small team, I wasn't implementing them the way that I should have. The way that I'm telling my clients, you need to implement your team. You need to use your team. I wasn't walking that walk. I was speaking it, but I wasn't walking it. So it came to a point to where I had just hired on 2 additional contractors and had got them fully trained, got them to a point to where I felt comfortable where, they could manage, portions of my business, a portion of my client's business. And I got sick. I got sick. And that was the way the Lord said, okay, I've been trying to tell you to sit down. Now you need to rest. You need to do some stuff. And I had to take a step back and reevaluate myself, my life. What was I doing? Was I walking the walk and talking the talk? Like I'm telling my clients, life work balance. I'm telling them, but I wasn't practicing it myself because I got a business to run. I got to show my husband that, hey, the business is bringing in money. We can do this. And it wasn't even about all of that. That for me, and I'm thinking internally, this is what I need to do to move forward. But sometimes we just need to slow down a little bit and let things naturally progress,
Absolutely. Now, I love that. I talk a lot, and I've been talking a lot more about it lately for probably about 2 months about the natural progression of entrepreneurship. A lot of times I like to equate it, to farming. And I really don't believe that a lot of entrepreneurs embody the fact that when you first begin, for instance, it's a completely different feeling. Because to till the soil, to get out the rocks, to pull out the weeds, and I've actually done a garden before and rented a tiller. I tried it with my hands and then I rented it. And I'm going to tell you something. Either way you do it, it's work. And I actually had to dig up the layer of grass in a section of my backyard. So that was a whole nother journey in itself. There was more sweat equity in the beginning. It isn't as difficult once you lay the foundation and start planting those seeds. But after that, you sometimes you could feel like you're in this loop of, have I done enough? But, you really don't have anything to do other than water, let the sun shine, kind of watch out for the little bugs and the kinks, and then trust that you showing up. You having faith and believing and not showing up by overworking, but just by being there in the spirit that you're going to reap a harvest, and that harvest is always so much more greater than what those seeds were. Because the seed is this little and but the stalk, is that big. And that is one of the biggest killers with us and women. We are workers because we're used to laundry, cooking, cleaning, satisfying him and working and doing all of those things. And so you can get caught up in that vicious cycle, but we do sometimes need to sit still. And what we can't do is basically that's rooted in fear. That fear of, if I don't get it, then I'm not going to make the money. If I don't make the money, then the bill's not going to get paid, or whatever. For each person, it's a different path down to it. And regardless of which spiritual foundation you use, specifically in the Christian community, he didn't give you a spirit of fear. Right. And so immediately you should be convicted and be like, why do I feel this way? Because I have the spirit of love, power, and a sound mind. So why am I feeling this way? And so I just love the dynamic of your interview and the freshness that it's bringing to everybody. You're listening. Where are you at in this journey? Have you planted the seeds? Are you solid? Did you take the jump? Leaving the cushy job? Did you exercise the discipline of eliminating certain things that shouldn't be in your life? I mean, after you've done all that you can do, what do? You stand. So some of you may have really just needed that word of encouragement right there. And now I'm going to need you to really trust what you say you believe in. And know that the provisions are going to be there. Amazing. I love the way that I'm feeling, during this interview. I know that this is going to bless some people, so here you are. And I can hear so much from where you went through, and we ain't have to give the old ugly story of, your transitions. But coming up to speed, who are you around? What's your circle like? What do you do to still help you stay grounded, yet evolve and grow?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I had to learn as an entrepreneur is that sometimes your circle have to change a little bit, right? Because everybody is not meant to be on that entrepreneurial journey with you. Now, your personal surroundings, sometimes they can support you, but they may not necessarily know how to support you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. So you have to get out there and you have to, meet like-minded people, right? That understands the journey. Because some friends I can call and say, that are entrepreneurs, and I can call and share something and get some encouragement from that perspective. And then I have personal friends that may not necessarily understand what I may be going through. So I had to open myself up to new relationships, right? Other women that's on the same journey that we can continue to support and encourage one another. So I do have some online business friends that I've met in, collaboration opportunities, mastermind groups. And I feel like I have been knowing a lot of these women for years and have only known them, some of them, less than a year, but we're on that journey together and we've made that connection. And it's not just about, you buy something from me, I'm buying something from you. It's not about that at all. It's about the support that we need in this online community or on this entrepreneurial journey that we have, because again, everybody that don't understand it.
Absolutely.
So having those people that you can talk to, and you may be having a bad day, or maybe you just need to brainstorm something with somebody, and having those like-minded individuals to do that, has been awesome. So just me being open to new relationships, new friends, new business friends, and that has absolutely been a very invaluable to my business and to my sanity.
No, hello. And, actually recently, meaning like within the last 24 hours, I just had something hit me that shook my personal world. And here's the thing, because I've been through this stuff enough, I know that there's a moment of elevation that's right before me. And so there's always distractions or things that'll pop up. And so it pays to have a support system. And some of you, depending on your background, these transitions that you're talking about, they're not necessarily ready to open themselves up to. They may be afraid, but you said you have to shift that circle. And so for me, I know that I'm so used to being a strong woman, a renegade. I got this, I can handle it. But I knew better than that, because nobody makes it alone. And my support system actually has predominantly been from women that I met online. Now we're in similar physical places now so that I can actually meet with them, but that was a blessing. And something else I want to put out there, I know I'm just kind of going on a tangent because I feel like this nugget should be placed. When we think about coaching and getting help and leadership and entrepreneurship in the online arena, sometimes there's this big I, little you kind of syndrome. Or, you could look at a person and be like, oh, well, if they're this and they're at that level, then they're above me. Not actually realizing that we're all peers.
Right.
And that I just happen to have a skill set. Like you could have just started your business and you might be great at what you do, but you sucked at selling it to someone. And so you might need to hire me to be your sales coach, but that doesn't mean like, oh, well, she needed to hire me, so what can she do for me?
Right.
It's not like that. And who knows? And I could have needed you in reverse. And so I tell people all the time, sometimes you're sleeping on your support, or you're sleeping on the person you should be hiring because you're perceiving them to be something that they're not, based on their position. But I remember I worked with one woman who was literally side by side with me. And because she had 10 years in the game, I'm like, oh, well, she, for 2 seconds, I almost bought the lies. She don't need my help. But I literally was doing what I normally would do. And I was like, I see what she's doing with her messaging. I can see the struggle. I know she's struggling, because why did she put that offer out there and say that? I do mindset work. I'm listening to the language. And when I reached out to her, that was her blessing, because it literally metamorphosed her business in a very short period of time. And so some of you're missing the relationships, you're missing the support, you're missing the person you should hire, because you're envisioning them to need to be in a place, or that they're in a place that they don't have to be. So take that nugget, whoever's hearing it that needs that, run with it and go from there. We're kind of dwindling down on time. I want to make sure that people understand who you are and how you can help them. So talk to them about how they find you. We didn't discuss this beforehand, but if there's an opt-in, we're going to put the links and everything on a podcast. I just want you to freely promote who you are and what you do and how you can serve the ladies that are listening.
Great, absolutely. Thank you. Well, my website is FrazierBusinessSolutions.com, FRAZIER, because we know it has multiple spellings. It's actually, you can link to my social media platforms from there as well. And as I stated earlier, I specialize in managing program launches. And program launch could be a service launch. It could be if you have an e-course. I do a lot of membership site launches. And sometimes, people just don't understand what a launch consists of. So if you just need to chat about that, you have your own team, but maybe you just want to chat about what does a project look like. And when you think about that, just remember that a project has a defined start date and a defined end date. So we're not talking about something ongoing. So an actual project, you're going to launch it, and you may have to launch multiple things afterwards. But so project is a defined start date, defined end date. I specialize in managing those. So you can check me out online, FrazierBusinessSolutions.com, and I will be providing a freebie that August can link to the podcast.
Absolutely. Now, so you can't leave without giving them that final piece of gold, that golden nugget. You've given them a lot of wisdom. So for all the ladies that are listening, what's that final word of wisdom that you would want to give them to encourage them on this journey?
I would say this is from one of my favorite quotes, and it goes, this is not verbatim, but it's, we are qualified to lead only to the degree that we are willing to serve. And that's by Dr. Edwin Lewis Cole.
I like that. She's been a blessing, you guys. I'm going to leave it at there. I'm not adding anything to it. Thank you, LaToya, for being here. You have definitely blessed the people. You blessed me. I love that. You did. You got my spirit and my juices going. I'm going to go do 15 live videos off your conversation. Thank you guys for always tuning in. Hey, keeping it sweet and simple. We all can do this. Real women don't bitch. We get shit done. Get out there and beast your business. Deuces.